This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Thanks for joining us from wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to QTV This Morning. On the platform, I am with Aliou Cisse. Aliou, good morning.
Good morning, Balde. It's a pleasure to be back on this exciting.
Yes, it's been long.
Oh yes,
I mean,
yes, yeah.
yes.
Balde, you Jennifer and Julia,
but
together with Mr. Khan Ade.
But it's good to have you here once a while. At least you talk to the people through This Morning.
At least it's good to be back to step in for Julia and Jai, who's been here this morning.
Exactly. Yes, on the program. We would be looking at the African proverb, and from there, then the newspaper review. We'll be looking at stories making headlines, and our review guest is Mr. Ka. Mr. Ka, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on the platform. And it's good to welcome Aliou, just coming from India, a trip. So I guess he will tell us a little about that.
About India, interesting country. Yes, I believe.
And the mission as well.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the start of the tourist season, and we've seen the flights landing in the Gambia. Gambia, it's a destination where many people choose to come and relax, enjoy their stay. So we'll be talking to the Gambia Tourism Board on the start of the tourist season. And Fode Ba, Head of Marketing, and Musa Dem, Public Relation Officer, the Gambia Tourism Board will be on the platform. Then we will look into a writer, a medical expert, he writes a book called Life as a Hyphen, and Dr. Ismail Abaji will be on the program, and he'll be taking us through the book and the inspiration behind his writing. So it will be significant for us to deal with that. But now let's start with the quote, the African proverb we have. It reads, "If you don't like the frog because it eats slugs, then you will have no meal." Yes.
That's deep. It means, the frog that eats the slug. If you don't like it, you will have no meal.
Yes.
Which means the slug is the meal that the frogs eat. So therefore, you have to like the frog to be able to eat, because the frog got there to the slug before you. So you have to, it's kind of deep, but unraveling it.
Well, it's telling you, if you are to accept something, maybe you are to accept someone, you need to accept the person as a whole. You understand? You don't have to maybe, let's take it to our local context. You cannot, let's talk about our marriages.
Okay.
You cannot only like your husband without liking maybe some of his relatives.
How about the other way around?
Or you cannot also like your your wife without liking, the relatives that are attached to them. So I think it's important we all, accept this. I think this proverb is talking about that. You understand? I've seen instances where when women are married to certain compounds, while they had previous marriages before, you will see some husbands will tell those women, I don't want to live in the same house with maybe the children from the previous marriage. So there are a lot of things. So if you are to like a person, you like him as him or her as a whole, Mr. Khan. I think that's
true. You have to like the siblings that come along in that kind of situation, just like your children. So you cannot love mom and not love children. That is what you're trying to put across. I think that's important. So yeah, I agree with you entirely. That is contextual in terms of that particular proverb. Sometimes the proverbs are challenging. You should be inviting the listeners as well and the viewers to give their input so that we can unravel these deeply impregnated proverbs that have a lot of meaning.
Yes, absolutely. I think that in due course we'll be able to do that. Maybe here against next year we will be hearing from our viewers outside.
They can just send their
messages.
What
they think. Ali, what do you make of this proverb?
I think I tend to share the same observation as Mr. Ka and like you earlier mentioned. I mean, if you have to like something, you have to like it whole. For example, let me just take an example. You cannot, for example, working within the Q group, and then this is where you get your source of living. Yet, you don't believe in you know, what the Q group stands for.
Yeah.
So definitely, I mean, if you are to work here, you should be appreciative, and you should be an advocate of what the Q group stands for. And this not just within the Q group, but anywhere you find yourself, even in government. If you're working in government, I mean, you cannot just be in government, you know, you're working in government, getting your living, but yet, you know, you don't believe in the leadership, you don't believe in the system and all those things. So, like you said, I mean, if you have to like something, you have to like it all. And
it's
not just,
pointing to acceptance.
Exactly.
You need to accept, you know, what it comes with. I mean, and at some point, you need to make sure, I mean, you accept that. So I think we agree. I mean, this is a point that we all agree, and it's talking about the same thing. If you don't like the frog because it eats logs, then you will have no meal. I mean, at the end of time, you won't get what you want, Mr. Carr.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't like the whole package.
Exactly.
You're right.
You know.
So it's a package.
Yes. There are things also. They will tell you if you don't do the job, another person is going to do the job. You understand? You know, you have to wake up in the morning, you have to go, especially those living in Europe. I mean, you have to enter the snow, I mean, to be able to go and do 1 or 2 jobs. So you have to do it, you know. You have to like the whole thing. So what we do, Mr. Carr, we'll take a short break. After the break, then the program will continue. We'll be right back.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. "5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected. Juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G Speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. Go, ebe dawa full network suda tili QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata QCell. Most reliable network dumala keta wati QCell. Wo quality man nyon soda jam ona manke QCell. Hanibe wulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria QCell suñu boss. Ño fi njega indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawo fele QCell. Ko fasunta buka busi QCell. Itella molti milka kukutol nati Gambia. QCell meta lori la kilianol yele imanjina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell sunibus. QCell sunibus. QCell sunibus. QCell sunibus. Connection be bambandi QCell sunibus. QCell most innovative QCell sunibus.
A humanitarian catastrophe playing out in real time. On the one hand, I saw hundreds of trucks teeming with food and other essential supplies. On the other hand, we know that just across the border there are 2 million people without water, food, fuel, electricity and medicine. Children, mothers, the elderly, the sick. Full trucks on one side, empty stomachs on the other. Those trucks need to move as quickly as possible in a massive, sustained and safe way from Egypt into Gaza. A 20-truck convoy of the Egyptian Red Crescent is moving today. And I want to express my deep gratitude to Egypt for the essential role Egypt is playing in this regard. But the people of Gaza need a commitment for much, much more. A continuous delivery of aid to Gaza at the scale that is needed. And we are working non-stop with all parties that are relevant to make it happen. Excellencies, let's be clear. The grievances of the Palestinian people are legitimate and long. We cannot and must not ignore the wider context for these tragic events. The long-standing conflict and 56 years of occupation with no end in sight. But nothing can justify the reprehensible assault by Hamas that terrorized Israeli civilians. And those abhorrent attacks can never justify the collective punishment of the Palestinian people. Institutional humanitarian law, including the Geneva Conventions, must be upheld. And that includes protecting civilians and not attacking hospitals, schools and UN premises that are currently sheltering 500,000 people. Excellencies, our near-term goals must be clear. Immediate, unrestricted and sustained humanitarian aid for besieged civilians in Gaza. Immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. And immediate and dedicated efforts to prevent the spread of violence which is increasing the risk of spillover. To advance all these efforts, I appeal for a humanitarian ceasefire now. Excellencies, our sustained collective efforts and resources have never been needed more. As we focus on ending the bloodshed, we cannot lose sight of the only realistic foundation for a true peace and stability, a two-state solution. Israelis must see their legitimate needs for security materialized, and Palestinians must see their legitimate aspirations for an independent state realized in line with United Nations resolutions, international law, and previous agreements. The time has come for action. Action to end this god-awful nightmare, and action to build a future worthy of the dreams of the children of Palestine, Israel, the region, and our world. Shukran.
Yeah, so we are back again. That's the UN Secretary General there, I mean, giving his speech, and, you know, he sounds, you know, a little bit angry. I mean, even by listening to the tone of his voice. He said some of these killings are unprecedented, and you know, something must be done because people are suffering. On that note, I would like to bring Ali Cisse here. Ali, what do you make of his speech?
From his speech, I mean, from his tune, you understand that there's frustration.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is the dire need for both Israel and Palestine. I mean, to really have a lasting solution to these long-standing conflicts, I mean, between these countries. I mean, if you've been following news or watching news these days, I mean, you'll be surprised as to the level of killings and destruction that's happening on both sides of the country. You have the Hamas on the other and the Israeli on the other end. I mean, just yesterday we saw Hamas releasing, I mean, 2 of the captives that they had captured from Israel. When they were interviewed, I mean, they were somehow fair to the Hamas, I mean, as to how they were being treated, how fair they were being treated, even though authorities in Israel were happy with the way, I mean, it was done. I mean, some of the utterances that were made, I mean, they were expecting the opposite about Hamas and all those things. But then the most important thing as far as, I mean, this war is concerned for me is about humanity. I mean, it doesn't matter which side you support, but it's about humanity. Imagine, I mean, bombing hospitals, Mr. Ka, bombing schools, killing civilians, innocent children. I can't be, I mean, watching that every day. Yes. But I think, you know, it's now time for action to be taken, like you have heard from the Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, exactly, addressing the UN Security Council there. But for me, it's time for the world to come together and to, you know, have a lasting solution to this crisis. Well,
he mentioned the people should adhere to the Geneva Convention that was signed. I mean, but it's like Mr. Carr, it's the opposite.
Yeah, international law dictates certain conduct when there is war, and we have witnessed a very, very atrocious war between these two people. But the collective punishment that is being meted to the Palestinians is evident. It's obvious for everybody to see now. Yes, Israel had a legitimate concern when on the 7th, the Hamas went there and killed a lot of people. This concern was addressed by the UN Secretary General, but by the same token, the Secretary General has emphatically emphasized that there is the need to lift, the siege. There is the need to lift the blockade of food, the blockade of water, the blockade, because the people that are suffering from that are not necessarily Hamas. You have 2-point-something million living in the Gaza Strip, and Hamas constitute just a small significant. So the continued demolition and bombing of the Palestinians and the killing, the attendant consequences is the loss of lives for children, women. So it has come to a point when the world have to really take a position that it must stop now. The bombings must cease and all must be lifted. The Gaza must access electricity, water, and food. These are basic humanitarian needs that you must not deprive people, even during the time of war. So I think the Secretary General have captured the mood and the spirit of the wider world. I know in the West there are certain governments that sided and still are not very clear. They are very ambiguous with regard to the ceasefire issue. But there shouldn't be any ambiguity. If you look at the devastation, the destruction, the death that is piling up in Gaza, it must touch your heart. And almost 5,000 people have died since the 7th. Almost 1,500 Israelites. So this is crazy.
Well, when you look at the situation in Gaza, I mean, it's been so long. For me, at some point, I think there is no political will, Mr. Carr.
There is none, particularly the superpowers. There is no political will because they have already taken position and sided, and this is clouding their judgment. This is a issue that is playing on the conscience of humanity. They must resolve it for the interests of the children of Gaza, the children of Israel, so that they can all be at peace. Because if Gaza is not at peace, Israel will never be at peace. So there has to be a lasting solution. And the lasting solution has already been advocated for, is the two-state solution. That must be worked on, and then the siege must be lifted. Because these people are living in an open prison for decades and decades, and this is not tenable any longer.
True. Well, it's a very sad situation. But also he, on his video, he thanked the people of Egypt for their swift intervention when it comes to providing certain things for the people of Gaza.
Yeah, the Egyptians are playing a major role because they are among the few countries that share the border with the Gaza Strip. You must understand that this strip is a very small, narrow strip of land which is densely populated. And there is an opening, and that is the border crossing between Gaza and Egypt. So this is the corridor through which aid can flow. But there is trickle of little amount of aid that is coming. What they need is all those trucks, particularly fuel, which Israel is definitely refusing to accept, water, and food. These are things that must be allowed to flow. And Egypt is playing a major role in brokering peace and enabling the Palestinians to also enjoy their basic human rights.
Probably something will be done as far as now the main man himself have already spoken.
Well, I mean, it's one thing for Guterres to issue a statement. It's another thing to have, both sides, heed to the call. I mean, we have seen the Russia-Ukraine war. UN Security Council have issued a statement on that. I mean, the war is still on. But then, like you said, like Mr. Carr said, I mean, for me, the most important thing is, once we have these world powers taking sides, then that's where the problem lies. Because, I mean, if you and Mr. Carr are at war, and then I'm taking sides with you, how will I come to advocate for peace when actually I've already taken sides? I mean, that's really what's affecting this war. I mean, already the big guns, the big powers, they already take sides. We all know where they belong. And that's really affecting...
Exactly.
I mean, that have reflected in the UN Security Council. All these days, They've been putting in resolutions, but the resolutions cannot pass through.
And even the Western media, Mr. Ka, how they are covering
they are also, so it's crazy. It's a situation that, the siding is very apparent.
Yeah.
So we must desist from that and then address the fundamental issue from a humanitarian perspective.
Exactly.
And recognize that Palestinian lives matter in as much as Israeli lives
Yeah,
matter.
sometimes I wonder, war is very expensive. I mean, who is paying for this war? At the end of the time, the investment is huge. Who is paying?
For the Americans, Israel, we know that America is spending a lot of money in terms of backing. So are the Europeans. So there is a lot of, funding. Obviously, they're accusing Iran and other Arab countries supporting the Hamas. So those are the factions that are really funding the different factions.
All right, thank you very much. Now let's talk about Aliou Cisse. You were in India last week, and to attend the Mark Foundation event, and first ladies from different parts of Africa converge, and a lot of things happen there. Can you take us through this?
Thank you very much, Bande. I wasn't expecting this thing anyway, but then it was the 10th Mark Foundation's Africa Asia Luminary is held annually, where we have first ladies from across Africa and also invited media professionals and health professionals across Asia and Africa who converge annually. Last year we were in Dubai, and this year we were in Mumbai. I mean, the forum is actually meant to discuss, some of the health challenges confronting Africa, and then in a view to see how best we could be able to address some of the challenges facing most of these African countries. The Mark Foundation, through the Office of the First Ladies across Africa, is supporting so many health professionals. In most of the underserved, critical health areas. Like oncology and among others, just to ensure. The idea of having, sending patients from, for example, from the Gambia for treatment abroad is limited. That's exactly what the Mark Foundation is doing. But also, when it comes to girls' empowerment through education, they're also supporting the education of so many girls through the First Ladies Foundations by providing scholarship to most of them. But in terms of the health sector, they have supported so many health professionals, because even in Mumbai, we had so many health professionals from the Gambia who actually traveled to attend the conference, because they had benefited, from trainings fully funded by the Mark Foundation. Even when I was in India, I also met, 3 health professionals from the Gambia who were there for a 3-month course in India, funded by the Mark Foundation. So. The foundation has been here for over a decade now, and then they are closely working with the First Ladies to ensure, they change the way, our health sector is being managed in this country, but also to ensure we have a more quality as far as our health service delivery is concerned.
So we are looking forward to that. Most of the things we need in Africa, these are basic things that we need. That's healthcare, which is very significant, and I hope the narrative will change as far as I've listened to some of the, some of the activities that happen there, and I think it is really interesting.
It's interesting. Like apart from Mr. Ka, before we came on the program, the guy that did the brain surgery. These are all things that we really need in this country. So if you can provide training for our health professionals in these areas, it's really going to help in our health sector. And I hope, like Mr. Ka said, we will try to get the guy here, the one that did the brain surgery.
Yes, probably we'll get him by next week.
It's very rare for us to have this sort of development. So it's good that we celebrate some of these achievements.
Specialized medical intervention is important, and sometimes it's lacking in the third world. So if we have something like that in the Gambia, we have to really showcase it and celebrate. So we expect that you people will engage, and then we see. And we appreciate all the work that is being put in by the Mark Foundation and other organizations, for that matter, to strengthen and provide the facilities that we needed, so that we don't have to travel anywhere. We receive the medical treatment here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ka, for joining us on the platform. That's all we have for the stories. And, hope to see you tomorrow again, inshallah. Yes. So viewers, will take a short break. After the break, then we will talk to the Gambia Tourism Board. As you know, the tourist season just begun in the Gambia, and we've also received flights.
Yeah.
And
I understand you have been frequenters in the Gambia these days.
absolutely, and my smiling course, Mr. Ka.
Exactly.
GT Board, bugana nyo by sen
GT Board
they should bring our smiling course back. GT Board, the smiling course should come back. It's the tourist season, man. So we'll take a short break. After the break, the program continues. We'll be back.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell brings you the future with our ultimate bundles. Enjoy the best voice and data bundle plans in one package. Get unlimited data packages with flexible validity and enjoy what true internet feels like. Get 30 minutes of on-net and off-net calls with 5 gigabytes of data for just $350. Or get bigger bundle packages from 10 gigabytes to 20 gigabytes with over 100 on-net and off-net voice calls and enjoy the fastest internet speed in the Gambia. You can also buy 1-day, 3-day or even 7-day packages and enjoy unlimited data bundles with uncapped speeds. Just dial *343# today and experience the limitless capabilities of the QCell network. *343# should be your favorite code to dial now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Step into the Espas Motors showroom for your luxurious name brand vehicle. Located along the Bertil Harding Highway, Espas Motors is the Gambia's authorized dealer for Chery, Kia, Ford, and now we bring you the new Peugeot model 3008 SUV. 18-inch alloy wheels, 216 inches high ground clearance, keyless entry system, start and stop button, rear parking assistance system, reverse camera, adaptive cruise control with speed limit, LED daytime running lights, front and side airbags, 8-inch HD touchscreen. Not to forget our exquisite Peugeot Landtrek double cabin pickup with 2.1-liter diesel engine, 6-speed manual transmission 4x4, hill descent control, LED daytime running lights. Espas Motors, the authorized dealer for Peugeot. Visit us today or call us on 35-2222 or 353-4444.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience. Banking the smart way with the new Aji Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay.
You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde on the platform with Alif Cisse. Now let's shift our attention to the Gambia Tourism Board. I mean, this tourist season just begun, and most people are asking, well, what is happening? What is around town? What is happening? Is the Ministry of Tourism and Gambia Tourism Board prepared to receive tourists this year? And we've seen flights that landed at the Banjul International Airport, and I went to Senegambia. I've seen the activities there, so that's my area. So and now we have Fode Ba, Head of Marketing, Gambia Tourism Board, and Musa Adem, Product Package Development Manager, the Gambia Tourism Board. Gentlemen, you are welcome on this platform.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, it's good to have you here. Let's start with the head of marketing. What is happening? What is happening around? Are you selling?
Of course. Thank you so much. We're really selling, and as you know, the Gambia Tourism Board and is the institution mandated to market and promote the Gambia as an ideal tourism destination. And you know that recently we received our median flights from Holland, Corendon, and the UK, Gambia Experience. And you know that all of these things drive towards our strategy in terms of marketing and promoting the Gambia. So that being the case, we developed a very good post-marketing, post-COVID marketing strategy to promote the destination. So that strategy is the guide to advise us how best can we market and promote the destination. So that being the case, and also again, there's another document called the national tourism policy. That also is a very good guide. So this year we really implemented our those strategies by engaging tour operators from the Netherlands, UK, Poland, and Spain. So with that, we went into joint marketing programs where we can market the destination. So let me elaborate on those joint marketing programs. What happens is that, you know, those tour operators and the airlines, they are already in those countries, and they know where to tap the audience. So for us as a tourism board, and we also do our own at our end. So we venture into that, and we give them some funds to target certain segments of visitors. So they use that resources plus their own, because it's a 50-50 basis. They contribute 50, we contribute 50.
Yes.
So then you see that then they can market and they get full bookings. But for this year, the hopes are very high, and you will see that for Gambia Experience, they'll be coming with free flights per week, and TUI also will be operating in the UK. They also going to bring 4 flights per week, and they also operate in Belgium with 2 flights per week. Those are charter flights I'm referring to here. Also, again, Corendon too will be operating in Holland, and TUI also going to operate in Holland. And Rainbow Tours too will be operating in Poland, 2 flights. Last year it was 1 flight, but this year it's going to be 2 flights. And with Corendon, last year they operated, and this year they're going to operate 3 flights with 30% increase in capacity. So you will see that this year there's a huge hope that the season is going to be amazing, and our expectations are very high.
We are hopeful.
Yeah.
Ali.
Yes, I'll just bring in Mr. Dime here. I mean, you said products manager,
Yes,
package
manager.
package development manager. I mean, could you just say with us as what is your role exactly? What role do you play at the GT board in relation to the tourism season?
Thank you very much for having us here. The package development unit is under the product development and investment culture unit at the Gambia Tourism Board. Mr. Ba is talking about marketing, but before you market, you have to have the products.
Exactly.
And the products that are bringing tourists to the Gambia, that's where, under the department that I serve. The package development is not as packaged as to how do you combine excursions, nor is how do you combine the packages, the attractions that they come to see. For example, you want to go to Denton Bridge, and then you want to go on a fishing trip, for example, and how do you combine that package of getting a boat to go on a fishing trip, and then you combine that to a facility on attraction like a Lamin Lodge, and then maybe to see some other attractions around that. So the package development unit is under the product development, investment and culture unit. That's what we do. So we are responsible for all the products like the beaches, like roads and the infrastructure, and then some of the niche markets that we have here that attracts tourists to come into this country. So that's the department that I work on.
And you talk to so many people, you talk about is a diversification of our products. I mean, like for years, it's the same product that we have. That's the beach and other stuff. But I mean, in terms of diversification, I mean, how far have you gone in that aspect?
I think we've gone far. The diversification is as a result of the needs that was expressed as a result of the policy document that was formulated by the Ministry of Tourism. If you look at the Gambia as a destination, our major share of our tourists come here from sand, sea, and sun. And in order to diversify that, we need to include like ecotourism, cultural tourism, heritage, and using nature-based tourism. That's the diversification part of it. It needs infrastructure to do that. So how do we combine, let's say, nature conservation? How do we utilize River Gambia? How do we utilize our heritage and culture as an attraction to generate both employment and income for the destination Gambia? So the diversification process is ongoing. Tourism is a dynamic industry. It's an industry that you keep changing and adapting and then formulating as you go along, because there is no one size fits all. So the diversification process is that. So we use culture, we use heritage, and we use our national environment to attract tourists. There is and bird watching, for example, fishing, it's all part of that, and nature tourism, as I said. So these are the segments that we want to diversify into to complement our major attraction, which is Sansi and so on.
Yeah, Mr. Dem, what are we doing as far as you are the product development manager? Let's talk about our heritage sites. I mean, what are we doing about them? Some of them are dilapidated.
That is true. It's a challenge like any other industry. And as you know, the heritage and the cultural sites are under the National Center for Arts and Culture.
True.
Tourism is an all-encompassing industry. You use nature, for example, it's part of agriculture, fisheries, and then the culture, as you said. So even though we are all under the same National Ministry of Tourism and Culture, but we work with our stakeholders at least to use those attractions. It's difficult to maintain it because, like, for example, some of the heritage sites that are under UNESCO, there are certain things that you can do there. You cannot just develop it anyhow you want. There are criteria and there's procedure. So using those criteria and procedures to develop those heritage, that's where the process takes long. But at least we have, there is a plan to do the restoration in some of the heritage sites. And then there is also need to use some, especially the locals where these heritages are situated, to ensure sustainability, because it makes a huge difference if you employ somebody, let's say from Jufure, to work at Kunta Kinte Island. This is their own yard, their own backyard, rather than to bring somebody all the way from out there. So these are all part of the plans we have as management structures to make sure that at least these guys are, these heritage sites.
I visited the stone circles. I went to Wasu, I went to Kiribati as well. For Kiribati, you did a wonderful job, you know, but I don't know of Wasu. I think we should do better. I mean, we should get more, better infrastructure. We should get restaurants. We should get things that will make people to stay.
You are right. As I said, development is a process. Right now, we have a World Bank tourism project. It's called the Tourism Diversification and Resilience Project in the Gambia. If you have, we have already a management firm that is identified to look at and do the site assessment of all these heritage sites and other attractions. To look at how can we utilize the resources that are allocated to develop this. So this is a 5-year project. So I'm 100% sure by in the next 4 or 5 years, you will see a huge difference in the sites and heritages and all the other attractions that are identified as for areas of intervention during this project period.
And Mr. Ba, I mean, could you just share with us some of the challenges, I mean, you're faced with as far as, I mean, the season is concerned? I mean, there are certain things that you wouldn't want Gambians to do. I mean, these are tourists who are coming in, most of them are coming in to rest and then have leisure and, of course, see sites and all those things. I mean, any challenges?
Thank you. You know, you are right. You know, for us at the GT board, whatever we do, we base it on statistics. So based on our statistics information data has shown that most of the tourists are complaining about hassling, so bombsters and so forth.
Like Bande and Co, right?
So
because he told me, you know, he was attending Gambia yesterday,
exactly.
so Bande has started.
So that's why we have the tourism security unit that try to control that to see that it is minimized. And also, again, the quality standards. The standards are very, very important in terms of tourism marketing and promotion. So the standards too need to be lifted to see that they are up to standard and so forth. So I think these are some of the things that we encounter. Of course, monetary too. When you get more money, we can promote more. Yes.
Interesting. Excuse me, Mr. Demonstro here.
Yes. Regarding tourism is everybody's business. And there's one thing that we should put out there, especially for everybody, for Destination Gambia, is that there is a saying in the hospitality industry: one unsatisfied customer talks to 10 other people.
True.
So we all should be marketers, we all should be promoters. To go out anywhere as a tourist, it involves a lot of cost. And the way they select people, tourists select destinations, number one is security and comfort. If you go alone, or you go with a family, or you go with your kids. So everybody should know that a negative deed that you've done to a tourist is destroying Destination Gambia, is harming us, is giving more fire and advantages to our competitors. So from the time they got to the airport, that's the first impression. You might think that you're looking for $5. Okay, I understand. We all need to make some money. But let's do it the right way. There is approach. There is service. It is the service industry. There are certain things you do. You don't even need to tell somebody, give me this. They will give you something because these are seasoned travelers. So when you talk to them at the airport, talk to them nicely. If you want to have a service, if you have a service to offer, offer your service. Give your service and you will have your reward. In the bus, in the village, towns, in cities, in the markets, this is key. Make sure that, whoever you deal with, deal from a point of honesty, because that's what helps us as a destination. That's what gives us edge over our competitors. Gambia is a small destination.
True.
We don't have the luxury of resources that we can use to compete other big players. But what we can have that is unique is our hospitality and service. And I believe Gambia, that's why we have the Smiling Coast. It was not coined unnecessarily. It's befitting for our people because I think we are made for service. So if you are nice to people, these are our strength that we should focus on, and that everybody should be involved. Let's be nice. Naturally, we are. Let's give them out there, and then they will keep coming back.
And certainly, we cannot.
And we'll all benefit from it.
We cannot afford to have a fair industry.
No.
20% of our GDP is from tourism.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So you see how important that is.
Yeah, so let's talk about the quality of hotels. Standard. These are also very important when it comes to tourism. How often do you do inspections?
Yes, I think there's a department responsible for that, and they usually go for a routine inspection. So they have standards that they adopt, and they rate hotels based on those standards. And for us, as I will talk more about the marketing part, because if you want to attract quality tourists, standards need to be there. So of course, people always talk about quality tourists. So that's why GT Board took it up to himself to see that the standards are up. And they have a special department, full department, that ensure that those standards are there. And when it's time for marketing too, we can able to market those products. So standards cannot be left behind when you want to attract high spenders.
True.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Can I just remind viewers, it's just like the industry, the travel industry all over the world was decimated by COVID. So this is a comeback period that we're trying to get back into where we were before. It takes time, it takes resources. The hoteliers need money to put back into their facilities in order to attract more tourists. So it might take a little bit, but we'll get there. But COVID did a lot of damage to the tourism industry worldwide.
Yeah, so finally, Mr. Ba, tell us, how many tourists are we expecting this year?
Okay, usually, most of the times, the data we always give, the air arrival data. For this year, we are expecting to receive around 206,000 tourists all over the world, only by air. But usually, we don't usually give our data for air and sea. But you can see for 2022, we received around 374,000 tourists that pass through the borders. And also, again, by sea, we received around 12,000. So you can see that we correlate this thing based on our projections. So but for the figures for land and sea, those ones are for 2022. But for 2023, I'm sure we're going to receive a lot of tourists. So if those numbers are combined, you can see that Destination Gambia will receive more than 500,000 tourists every year. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ba, Head of Marketing, Gambia Tourism Board, and Musa Adem, Product Package Development Manager, Gambia Tourism Board. Thank you very much for coming. And I'm waiting for you to come and sign my Smiling Coast. I need to go do some interviews.
Of course. Let me come here. Of course, we know that, let me come up just 1 minute, is that we all know that, as Musa has said, that COVID has really affected the tourism sector. And that led to us to develop a strategy to see that we promote domestic tourism and regional tourism. Domestic tourism, So I know QTV cannot be left behind. So of course, that's why why we went into engaging the influencers, content creators, and journalists to see that they go for familiarization tour for them to know some of these products. So knowing the product, we give them a great idea how to sell these products.
True.
Of course, QTV cannot be left behind.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a big platform.
Absolutely.
You can have the influencers on social media,
No,
but the
in fact-
impact that the TV will have
In fact, I
outweigh
mean,
most of these
yes.
influencers on social media.
True, yeah. So thank you very much, viewers. We'll take a short break. After the break, the program continues. We'll be right back.
Do your banking the smart way with the new Aji Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Aji Bank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Aji Bank, your investment partner. You asked for it, and QCell is giving it to you with our new and improved Sunyu Bundle Mega Promo. Now you can get more data at cheaper prices. Buy any of our bundle packages and enjoy massive discounts. Dial *303# and enjoy browsing on the network with the biggest coverage. Buy a 20 megabytes data bundle for as low as $7 and 50 bottles today, or purchase bigger bundles up to 20 gigabytes. Yes, that's right, 20 gigabytes of data at your fingertips. With our mega promo bundles, you can browse more, chat longer, and stay connected on the go, anytime, anywhere. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell. We innovate. Orders follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Technology has always been at the forefront of our lives, and the way we use it has evolved drastically over the years. With the advent of 5G internet, we are entering a new era of technological innovation that promises to transform the way we live, work, and play. 5G internet is capable of providing data speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G, making it the ideal solution for streaming high-quality videos, playing online games, and downloading large files on the go. 5G internet is already transforming cities across the globe, powering smart cities, self-driving cars, and virtual reality experiences that were once thought impossible. 5G internet is also paving the way for Internet of Things, allowing for seamless connectivity between devices and the creation of a truly connected world. For the first time in the Gambia, QCell is bringing tomorrow's technology to you today with the launch of QCell 5G Internet. Get ready to experience the out-of-this-world wonders of QCell's 5G Internet. For more information, call 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
We are back. This is QTV this morning. Now we are the last segment of the program. Now we'll talk to Dr. Ismaila Baji. We look into a book with the title Life as a Hyphen. And Doctor is an influential writer, graduate from the Gambia High School, and now in Tennessee in the USA, and a medical expert. Doctor, you are welcome on the program.
Thank you guys for having me. Big fan of the show.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes. So at what point did you decide to become a writer?
I think that's interesting because I don't think I had a moment where I decided writing is something that I want to do. The genesis was I'm big on journaling. Most of the times I'll start my day by just jotting down how I'm feeling. It's an opportunity to express gratitude, but also goal setting as well too. And throughout the years, I found relief. Like as in anytime you're thinking a lot, you write it down, you feel better about it. But the creative aspect, I think, just aligns with just my nature in terms of storytelling, because I've also been a big fan of storytelling. I'm an avid reader. And most of the times, if you practice writing and you have a passion for storytelling, there's a convergence that happens where you start getting more confident in writing things that could spark conversation.
True.
And I think that started maybe about 5-6 years ago, where I ran a blog where I just think pieces, whatever I'm thinking. It could be societal, it could be medical, it could be, you name it, write it and share it with people. And I think that's where I started realizing that this is something that I could do in a more structured way.
Okay. And I think I have the book here. I mean, that's the book, Life as a Hyphen, Dr. Ismaila Baji. I mean, that's the book. I mean, why the title? Why this title?
So
Life as a Hyphen.
Life as a Hyphen comes from this idea that for people that may not know, so my dad worked for the Gambia government as a diplomat for a very long time. So I actually moved to Gambia when I was 7 years old. And stayed in Gambia from 7 to 17 years old. And then I moved back to the USA, where I've been. So my life has always been between Gambia and the USA. And the idea of a hyphen, even in terms of nationalities, that could be one. But even in Gambian society, a lot of people are more than one thing. Your mom could be Mandinka, your dad could be Wolof, right? True. You could speak one language and another language. So our experiences oftentimes are that of a hyphen. Even though people could label you as one thing, where they could see Ismaila Baji and think Jola, I don't even speak Jola. I know more about my mom's side, which is more Wolof and Seder. So life as a hyphen just comes from that idea that most people are stuck between two worlds, but trying to make sense of their world that's in between as well.
So how, I mean, from your experience, how were you able to connect the US, Gambia, you know, to live, you know, in between? Because I've gone through some of the things that you've written in your book. You were talking to your daughter, sort of. I've seen that. So take us through that.
Yeah, I think my daughter was that's who I dedicated the book to. Because I realized that when I came back to Gambia as an adult is when I really started learning about my grandparents. My dad's dad, for example, Manka Mambaji. If you hear Manka Mankunda right now, I'm the grandson of
the Manka Mang people.
Yeah, Manka Mambaji is my grandfather. You know, but I never met him. So I hear about his life through people. Because it's not like there's written documentation of who he was. My grandmother, Ajafati Menga of Afdai, I got to know her a little bit, but she passed early. So in 2018, when I had a daughter, I realized that as an adult, I didn't know much of the people whose blood runs in me, and I did not want to repeat generational cycles of not documenting our life. So I wrote about certain things in society that I think at some point she'll have questions about, be it femininity, the role of masculinity in society, the role of spirituality, as a way of also allowing her into my life where somebody else wouldn't have to explain to her how her father dealt with adversity, how her father dealt with love, how her father dealt with marriage. So from that perspective, I think a lot of parents would relate to conversations that need to be had with their children.
And it's very interesting. On chapter 1, I'm saying, I mean, letters to my daughter, and there you have a picture.
Yes, the day she was born.
Exactly.
Yes.
Quite interesting. But how long did it take you to write this book?
Honestly, 5 years. That's why if you look at the book, most of the chapters, it tells you when I wrote it. So it's a journey across 5 years where the different subject matters is when I think about, okay, I need to explain the concept of love to my daughter. I'll write then. I need to explain the concept of religion and spirituality. So it took 5 years of different spurts and then bringing it together and packaging it as one.
Because I'm saying chapter 1 was written in September 2018.
2018. And a lot of it takes you back to what life was in that moment. So even from an audience standpoint, there's moments where I wrote it in the middle of COVID. How was life like that? Some of them I wrote it when I came back to Gambia to start a company. How was life like at that time? So it takes you through
I can connect. I mean, so doctor, tell us how you are a medical expert here. How were you able to juggle the writing and the job?
Yeah, I think I'm a firm believer that what you do is not who you are. A lot of people, that's why even the title, there's nothing that says medical professional on the title. It's just Ismaila Baji. I have a doctor of pharmacy. I'm a pharmacist by profession. I build health systems. That's what I do. It's not who I am. Who I am is a father. Who I am is an African. Who I am is somebody who holds 2 nationalities, American and Gambian. But also, I think it's important that even for young children to realize that you could be passionate about more than one thing, as long as you're willing to pursue it, to dedicate time to that craft as well too. So at the time, going back to therapy, writing has always been an escape for me. So sometimes running a business, entrepreneurship, work, writing is where I could have quiet times and it's just me and a piece of paper. So it becomes a healthy balance as well too. But I definitely believe that.
And chapter 5, you're saying, call me Ismaila.
Yes.
I am a Gambian.
Yes.
What are you trying to put across?
Yeah, so my name is interesting because it's gone through 3 different evolutions, right? Ismaila is Gambia's way of saying Ismail. The name is Arabic. It's an Arabic Muslim name that means God hears, right? Most Americans say Ishmael because it's biblical, same name. So when I'm in America, most people know me as Ishmael or Ish. So call me Ishmael was a way of bringing you to my life in the USA. But most Gambians, especially if you went to Mrs. Ndaos or Gambia, how you knew me at Ismaila or Is. But the actual name now, it's Ismail is the proper name. So it's just a way of telling you what part of the book are you in. Call me Ishmael.
Whether you are the Gambian or the American.
Precisely.
Yes.
Precisely.
Okay, I mean, are you selling the books?
Yes.
Where are they selling?
Exactly. So it's available in the Gambia now at Timbuktu Bookstore, which is on Gaba Jahumpa Road, but also Cairo Cafe, which is the new Gambian-owned coffee shop across on Atlantic Road next to MRC, opposite the ex-president as well for distribution. And obviously international viewers is online on all the media platforms. But also an interesting thing, we made an audiobook out of it.
Okay.
That is the first Gambian audiobook on a global platform. And we have Gambian narrators in Shola Mahoney, who's a well-known orator, and David Abel Thomas. So the audiobook was produced here in the Gambia, which is something I'm really proud of, at Hot FM Studios as well. So for people that consume books through audiobooks, it's available on iTunes, on Audible. And just hearing a Gambian voice, the likes of Shola Mahoney and David Abel Thomas narrating a Gambian story, to me, that's one of the things I'm most proud of about this project, because the world is now consuming it.
Yeah, so Aliou, I'm told that's all we have.
Thank you so much.
So finally, what do you have for people out there?
I think as Africans, we need to write more and tell our stories. The 140 characters on Twitter is not enough to spark conversations that need to be had. And writing should not be left to writers or journalists. I think a lot of people have books in them. So I encourage us to document our story, tell our narratives, because our children will, if not, our children will be left to somebody else narrating the African story.
True.
So encourage writing quite a bit.
Yeah. Thank you very much,
Thank
Doctor, for coming on the program. I'm going to call you Ismaila.
Yes, Ismaila. Thank you so much. And I have copies for both of you guys.
Thank you, Ismaila. Yes, Aliou, this is all we have.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was good to be here.
All right. Viewers, enjoy the rest of our programs until we come again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.